everybody, my name is Jeremy, and welcome back to Wanderstop. I had a weird set, like I had to reconfigure my mic and everything, and it's just weird, and I don't have a lot of time as it is. So we're in here trying to get a little bit of tea done and get out. I'll have some information at the end of this video to give you about next weekend, which is looking like there won't be any videos. There might be one Sunday, definitely not Saturday, unless it's late. But I we'll get into that. Let's get back into this. So we're making you tea. Yes, tea. Yes. Book of answers. Wait. Page. Make a tea with a tea ball and any fruit. There's no correct answer. You'll simply get a different response depending on the attributes of the fruit you use. Alright, so I just need to get some kind of fruit. Some kind of fruit. So, let's see. Here, is there fruits here? Oh, let's stash that. Whatever. I need a fruit. I need fruit. And I don't know if I need to make a fruit or if I can just use a fruit. Here's some plants to kind of get going with. Let me. I forget. I guess I just have to like remake it. I really don't want to have to remake fruit, but I guess. Okay, whatever. I don't quite remember how to make fruit. We can do it. Alright. Yellow seeds, okay. Okay, let's stash that. Do we have water? We do. Whoa! There are fruits on this, I think. Yes. Whaling fruit! Look at that! A whaling fruit! I think that's how you say it. No, I'm not standing for this travesty right here. Fruit? A plantier, okay. Whatever. Alright, so let's make some tea. I will come back to you, Burrow, in a second. No one's in there, right? Yeah, okay. Let's go get some tea. I know I have at least one. Give it that. Stash that. Stash that. Thank you. Make some tea. Make some tea. Here we go. 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 Let's not pour the water in. Fill that bad boy up. Let's go ahead and get that in there. Stay in the hit. Stay in the grid. Stay in the grid. Stay in the grid. All right. That. Let's go over here. Let's go. Let's see here. We got a T-ball. We're gonna toss that in there. There's that. And then let's go a welling fruit. Do that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, whoa, oh, oh, oh. No, thank you. Okay, those are the cups I like. What the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Okay, whatever. Oh, here we go. What the fuck? Why do I only have like 3 cups now? Excuse me. Whatever. Okay, give me this. Probably gross as fuck. Okay, here you go. What you got? Not you. You. I'll come back to you. I'll come back. You, sir. You, sir. Wanted a cup of tea. Here you go. Passion tea. Excellent. Let's have a taste. Oh, there's a face under there. Ha! Warrior Alta, you have chosen to serve me whaling tea. What a fascinating choice. It is said that the drink emboldens one's sense of mathematical abilities, yes. Personally, I have not found this to be the case, but others do report such an experience. Is this what passion means to you? To become more intellectually capable? How fascinating. It is not what I would have guessed you would choose, yet I am delighted anyway. I have seen a new dimension of your character, which is quite the joy. Yes, I am very grateful for the tea you have brought to me. It is exactly what I hoped for. Thank you. Say, as long as you have your ear, as long as I have your ear for a moment, I must ask you something. Okay, you hop back in there. Okay. There's a story that I heard about you, and I simply must inquire whether it is true or not. Sure, go ahead. You were trained in sword combat by the old master Earnhardt, were you not? You see, there is a tale I have heard told a number of times about your training with him. I have heard it said that at your graduation from his school, you boasted of all your unparalleled skills. And apparently, Master Earnhardt, widely regarded as the foremost expert in modern sword combat, was so disgruntled by your hubris that he contrived to humiliate you. He personally challenged you to a longsword duel, his own preferred weapon, on your very graduation day. And I am told that you, in fact, disarmed him right there in front of the student body. Of course, all our attendants would have been strictly ordered to never speak of it. But with you here in front of me, I simply must ask, is it true? I am ordered by oath to never speak of this sad situation. Of course, I understand. Please forgive me my line of question. I do not mean to be intrusive. Nevertheless, can I simply say that I feel confident that you would have beaten him had the situation arisen. Thank you for indulging me. Alright, so there's that. I still got this old... What could you possibly want? Yeah? State your business. None of this drive still cigarettes. Shoo! No cigarettes here! No ancient wisdom on no value. Get out. Alright, you. The person who put my lost parcel in the mail. Thank you for your good deed. You returned my parcel when it would have been easily to walk off with it yourself. The package contained a sacred cloak. The only one of its kind, and valuable to me. I have attached a photograph of me wearing the cloak to show you its majesty. Without your generosity, it would truly be lost. Thanks again, Oliver the Owlmancer. Okay, well, we're gonna put this... Owlmancer. Let's put you here by the cleaning. There you go. Oh, it's not really great, but that's... okay. Alright. Trying to be mindful of my time. This might be a very short video, but we're gonna... let's see here. I don't want you, Granny. You're both inside. I want to talk to this weird dude. I think he's back here. No, that's Paul. You upstairs? I don't get upstairs. Paul, I don't want to talk to Paul. You are upstairs. Who are you? Hello, welcome to Wanderstop. It's a tea shop. Do you want tea? Tea? No, not feeling very good. Just want to sit down. Okay, sure. Are you gonna like... you have to like... okay, you can just sit there. Boro, hey bud. Boro, the old woman over there is trying to run Wanderstop out of the business. I see. Should we be concerned? No, she doesn't seem to be making any money. Ah, I see. In that case, I'm presenting my plan to handle the situation. Do nothing. What do you think of Burrow's business plan? It's ambitious. Indeed, I am having greater ambitions for the future, such as do something. But this is the future Burrow. This is for future Burrow. Today's Burrow will do nothing. To be honest with you, I am not especially worried about our new competition. Perhaps it will even be fun. Yes, surely fun is the primary goal of all competition between businesses. Yes, sure, buddy. Sure. Who's who? Bit? I don't have nothing for you. You can just sit there. What'd you do with your cup of tea? Did you sit down over here? There's a wandering cup somewhere. Ball has something else. Oh, it's him. Yeah, hey. Where'd you put that tea at? How are you doing? Quite well, thank you. In fact, I was just thinking I would make a request. Have you ever heard of silver moonlight tea? It is a variety that I drank once with the Vindian monks. That's how you say that. Okay. The taste of it brought my tongue nearer to bursting. It was a blistering potent drink. Yet when the feeling subsided, I experienced a tremendous oneness with myself and the world around me. I do not often wish for it, but at this moment I find myself desiring a cup. Perhaps all this talk of passion has stoked my adventurous side. Sure, how do you make it? The monks placed a mezberry, one chip, one pelamelon, and a mushroom into a pot of hot water. Dried tea leaves, of course. Is that too much to ask? Mezberry, chip, pelamelon, mushroom, got it. Thank you, Warrior Alta. That is a fucking drink. Okay. I'm not gonna fuck with that right now. I'm not fucking with that. Not fucking with that. I am gonna try some of this tea though. Here. Come on. Where's this tea at? I want to try some of this tea. Now I'll give myself the overpour. Thank you. Oh my god. Full. Right. Ooh, let's go. I'll come back to you here in a second, bro. Where do I want to sit? Here, maybe. Nope. Cut. Well, right, you're sitting over there. I could just sit with you, but I'm not going. That's here. Nope. Oh. Yes to everything, to all of it. The unyielding yes. Well, that's about. Let us sit. And let us drink. I'll have a drink too.
Does this taste like leather? I guess I don't know what leather tastes like. You know, leatherworking was the one single thing my dad was good at. He'd always make people gifts on their birthday. Things like shoes or a handbag or whatever. But it was always a hobby for him. He refused to do it professionally, you know, to take it seriously. And that killed me. Because, come on, this is something you're good at. Or you could be good at, really good. So it was such a waste in my mind. I told him that. Told him it was a waste. And I remember, God, the look he gave me when I said that, of like it said the most demeaning thing to him. I'd never seen him get mad like that before. I wish he'd been like that more often. Mad.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm one for like, you know, when I'm doing YouTube videos, you know, I'm not great at them. I don't have a lot of time to sink into them as of right now. You know, I'd love to have like the really fancy setups, the the nice little thumbnails, eye-catching stuff, a better camera, a boom mic. I would like to have all that stuff, and maybe eventually I'll get that stuff. But we'll see. That's down the line. I do this for a hobby more than anything else. Hello, hello, book lovers. It's Book by Mail Club again. Yes. I have to say, it's been a long time since I received such a positive response to a book as With Edge of a Bullet. Y'all really liked it. So let's read another Dirk Warhard novel. Hell yes. This time, The Fastest Bullet Alive. I hope you like it as much as Dirk likes justice. Later, Gators. Oh, I am absolutely reading this book right now. I'm going off into the sunset to read this book away from everybody else. My little corner of the world underneath this particular tree. Let's read. By D.B. Steele, The Fastest Bullet Alive, a Dirk Warhard novel. The location? Outer space. The mission? Dirk Warhard going to outer space. The man? Dirk Warhard. Dirk Warhard knew only one thing about our outer space. Anything you kill in space stays there for good. He couldn't remember where he had learned this piece of information, but it was about to save his life. 2 days ago, he had boarded a spaceship bound for the Global Alliance space station. Most field agents required extensive training to prepare for a mission to space. But Dirk Warhard was no ordinary agent. He completed the 3-week training program in a mere 6 hours. Taught himself physics in order to build his own spaceship, and most importantly, he could hold his breath for up to 30 minutes at a time. The last point was important because Dirk Warhard didn't trust the government-issued spacesuit he'd been given. It was common knowledge that the government filled the spacesuits with government air, a type of air subsidized by the government for public use, and so it had inevitably been breathed by all manner of degenerates such as actors and theater performers and improv comedians. Dirk Warhard trusted air that only he had ever breathed. And so, throughout the mission, he had only allowed himself to breathe once every 30 minutes, so as to consume as little of the degenerate air as possible. At this very moment, he had just taken one such breath. He was floated in space, just outside the Global Alliance space station, fitted in his government-issued spacesuit. Not 100 feet away, a vicious man named Commander Huntington was waiting, also floating in space. However, Commander Huntington was wearing perhaps the most elite spacesuit ever constructed. A fusion-powered nanoparticle exoskeleton made from steel and magma, and designed by a man who didn't know how to love. Dirk Warhard grimaced at the relative puniness of his own suit. As the government air rushed into his lungs, and he screamed as the horrific thought of mediocre community improv assaulted his mind. Commander Huntington smirked, aware of his obvious advantage. "I see you, Dirk Warhard!" he yelled. "I see you and that pitiful equipment you've lugged up here. How could you ever consider yourself a match for my superior exoskeleton?" As he said this, the exoskeleton blinked in a pattern of glowing green lights that looked like a snake, which Dirk Warhard thought was super cool. "Face it," chuckled Commander Huntington. "You've lost. Outer space belongs to me now, and with my unstoppable technology, I will rule over it like a king." Dirk Warhard wanted to yell back, "Well, you can't do all of that stuff if you're dead." But he knew that doing that could easily shave 10 minutes off his breath-holding time. So instead, turned to someone who could do all the talking for him. His trusty handgun. Dirk Warhard pulled the handgun from his holster, pointed at Commander Huntington, and squeezed the trigger. The bullet exploded out of his gun, raced toward Commander Huntington, and slowed to complete halt, inches from Huntington's face. Commanding Hunter burst into laughter. Well, it seems even the famous Dirk Warhard is fallible. My exoskeleton emits a gravitational field that will slow your bullets to a complete halt. Do you see how useless it is to oppose me? I am invincible." and the light of his suit showed the cool snake-eating toxic waste in surviving. It was a terrible moment for Dirk Warhard. His gun had never failed him before, and he had fired it over 1,000,000 times at over 10 million. What? You'll never be able to shoot me, taunted Commander Huntington. Your bullets aren't fast enough. Suddenly, something sparked in Dirk Warhard's mind. The commander's words echoed in his ears. Your bullets aren't fast enough. His mind stirred, and a memory of himself as a young man suddenly flashed before his eyes. I said your bullets aren't fast enough, Warhard. It was the voice of Hollister Madblack, Dirk Warhard's very first trainer. Madblack had been the one who shaped Dirk Warhard into the heroic agent of violent justice he would one day become. Madblack was a brutal teacher, unrelenting in his methods, and incredibly specific in his background knowledge of your insecurities. And on this particular day, Dirk Warhard had spent all afternoon at the firing range with Madblack berating him. Your bullets aren't fast enough, Madblack growled. They're pathetic. They've got all the intensity of a comatose infant dying of the plague underwater. Do it again, damn. The young Dirk Warhard grimaced, his sweaty hands gripping the handgun, and he fired the gun once again with all his might. The bullet went fast, really, really fast, but it wasn't fast enough for Madblack. No, 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 yelled Madblack. Still too slow. My grandmother could hobble faster than this, and she literally made of bricks. Dude, literally made of bricks. Do it again. Dirk Warhard was nearly at his limit. He'd been shooting the bullets as fast as he knew how to, and it still wasn't enough for Madblack. Dirk Warhard slumped into his shoulders in resignation. Madblack got right in his face. Now you listen to me, Warhard. We aren't leaving this pristine, privately funded underground training compound until you fire a bullet so fast it leaves me in tears. And I've only cried twice, ever. So stand up, point yourself forward like a man, and fire the gun. A wave of determination swept over Dirk Warhard's face. He threw his shoulders back, raised his handgun into the air, and focused his mind on the one single thing in the world that brought him true happiness and inspiration. Dirk Warhard. He grinned as his finger clenched the trigger with every fiber of strength he had. He screamed at the top of his lungs, I'm Dirk Warhard! The bullet erupted from the gun, traveling at speeds he'd never known before. Hollister Madblack smiled. That's it, Warhard. That's what I want to see. Again. Dirk Warhard fired the gun again, this time with even more strength than before. His finger moved with a velocity that he had never known in his life, slamming down onto the trigger. My name is Dirk Warhard, and I am Dirk Warhard. The bullet erupted from the gun at a blazing pace. Again and again he fired, each bullet faster than the one before, after nearly 9 hours of uninterrupted gunfire. Dirk Warhard had last paused and lowered his handgun. He turned to see Hollister Madblack with a single tear rolling down his cheek. Number 3, Warhard, not bad. These words echoed in Dirk Warhard's memory as his mind raced back to the present moment. While Commander Huntington continued to taunt him using the exact same words he had already repeated like 5 or 6 times by now. Your bullets aren't fast enough to defeat me, Dirk Warhard. Dirk Warhard smiled. He gripped the handgun like you'd grip a beloved friend and pointed it at the commander, who simply laughed. Go ahead, try your best. Dirk Warhard closed his eyes and thought deeply about the one thing in the world that he truly loved, the source of all his inspiration, the only man whose air he'd willingly breathe, and the only family member who had never sold his personal information to the country we're at war with. Dirk Warhard. A warmth filled him from within, circling his body before traveling down into his finger. It was as though his finger was moving all on its own, unencumbered by any burden of life or physics, like a being of pure light traveling in an imperfect world. His finger squeezed the trigger with more strength, more velocity, more momentum than any man alive knew was possible. Nobody had ever fired a gun like this before. Nobody. With a deafening crack, the bullet fired directly at Commander Huntington. For a split second, Huntington felt a genuine shock that he may have been outmatched. And then, nothing. No reaction at all. Commander Huntington was perfectly fine. Ha! He laughed. You missed! The famous Dirk Warhard fires the shot of the lifetime and he misses! Unbelievable! Huntington couldn't stop himself. He doubled over in laughter. But Dirk Warhard didn't seem to mind. In fact, the faintest grin danced across his face. Commander Huntington laughed and pointed at Dirk Warhard in mocking derision until suddenly he was seized by a very unusual feeling. What was this feeling exactly? It was as though the exoskeleton was gripping him just a bit less tightly than usual. In fact, he was starting to feel as though there was no exoskeleton. Not merely that the exoskeleton had been destroyed, but that it never existed at all. Dirk Warhard had hit exactly what he aimed at. The bullet had erupted from the gun at such an unbelievable velocity that it couldn't be contained by the very fabric of space around it. It shredded through reality, setting quantum matter alight in its wake, and in doing so, it pierced the veil of time. A bullet traveling so fast, it traveled backward in time. Backward a minute, then an hour, then a day. Years began to fly by, and the bullet lost no momentum. It soared through the years until at last it found its destination. The Steel and Magna laboratory where the exoskeleton had been constructed, honed and refined, and it's designed by the scientists who didn't know how to love. Decades of work and research had culminated in the unstoppable exoskeleton that Commander Huntington wore today. Yet, here, at the start of it all, Dirk Warhard's bullet re-entered the fabric of space and flew straight and true into the liquid explosive core of the facility, generating a spark that blew the entire facility to pieces. No exoskeleton would ever be constructed here, that much was for certain. Now, in the present moment, Dirk Warhard watched as the Commander Huntington's grasp and failed at the empty space surrounding his body, where the exoskeleton had been just moments ago. As Commander Huntington scowled at him in a combination of spiteful fury and suffocating, Dirk Warhard couldn't help but laugh. Dirk Warhard had always despised the past, but today it had served his life. He knew it would cost him precious air, but he was too swept up in emotion. He turned to outer space and yelled, "My name is Dirk Warhard, and I will defeat the past, even if it takes the rest of my life." Then he laughed and laughed until inevitably he had to breathe again. As he inhaled, the horrific thoughts returned to good-natured community actors just trying to get a leg up in their highly competitive industry. He shuddered in disgust, but somehow it didn't bother him. Here in space, watching as Commander Huntington suffocated on whatever he was doing over there, Dirk Warhard felt certain that he had made his old trainer proud, and that was all that mattered. Somewhere in the past, Hollister Madblack smiled ever so slightly and nodded in glowing approval as another tear ran down his cheek. His calloused, stubbled cheek. Number 4. Not bad, Warhard. Not bad. Literature at its finest. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you I don't care who you are. That's literature at its finest. Well, I'll take that, I guess. Yellow seeds. Alright. Okay, okay, we're cutting it a little close. I'll go do a couple of things around. What the hell is this? Let's go ahead and do that. I'll do a couple of chores around real quick, and then I'll call it an episode. If you don't stick around for the very end, like some people do, some people don't, actually. It seems like a lot of people just watch the first few minutes. But know that I've got a lot going on next weekend. I cannot guarantee that there will be even one video. There might be one. There might be two. But you're probably, if I was able to do two, it's going to be one super late and then one at regular times. Now, this is a little bit later than I typically do. But let's go ahead and click that. Oh, there's another pile of stuff. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I cannot guarantee that there's going to be any videos at all. There might not be no videos. There might not be, and it's just because I've got a lot going on this coming weekend, and you might just have to wait. You know, I am going to try to tomorrow to finish Fallout. I'm going to try to finish it so we can get going on to the next episode. How to get up here? All right. So we're gonna end it there. We're gonna end it there. I know it's a little bit shorter than typical, but we gotta get going. But we did get a good Dirk Warhard story in there. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. But yeah, we'll still record Fallout tomorrow. I'm gonna try to finish Fallout tomorrow. Next weekend, I can't promise that I'll have anything done. I don't. I'm not going to say don't expect a video, but don't be surprised if there isn't any videos next weekend. I'm going to try to get to it, but it's going to be very difficult. So, but the weekend after that should be back on track. I think the weekend after that, is that like the 4th of July? Are we already there? No. Next weekend shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. We should be all good to go on that. Just this coming weekend, it's going to be a little rough. But tomorrow, definitely Fallout. I'm going to try to finish it. Might be a longer video. Heads up. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.